Well, good Sunday evening to everybody, and welcome to the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball Game of the Week between the Chicago Cubs and the Montreal Expos here on Replay Baseball. Got our red, white, and blue dice. You can see the starting lineups for each team, their bench players that are available, as well as the bullpen arms that are also available. Starting pitchers, of course, for the Expos, right-hander Ken Hill. He, in the 1993 season, was 9-7 with an ERA of 3.23 in 28 starts. He'll be opposed by left-hander Greg Hibbard of the Cubs, 15-11, 3.96 ERA in 31 starts. So, sit back and relax and enjoy Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball for the 1993 season. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the Digital Diamond sim the other games in 1993 and come up with a playoff. And at the end of the regular season, we'll, of course, have the NLCSs and ALCSs, and then finally the championship for the Fall Classic to take it all. So we'll see what happens. I may get the 93 season in replay PC. Some people think it's redundant to have the cards and the computer season, but I think they kind of go hand in hand. So I may lean towards doing that. I'm not sure yet. I haven't done any simming on that as of yet, so I can always sim it from the start up until the last game I've played. So got time, but I'll need to make a move quickly because we're almost into June and need to pick one in one direction and go in that direction. All right, so Ken Hill, enough of that, enough chatter on that. So let's get this ball rolling. Ken Hill is going to take the mound, and he'll face Dwight Smith to lead off the ball game. Left-hander Dwight Smith in right field for this one, and this game is underway. That is a 2.53. 2.5 on Smith is a 16. 2.3 on Hill is a 4. Total of 20 in column 2, and 20 in column 2 is going to be a fly out to right field. Put away out there by Moises Alou. And there's one away. That'll bring up the third baseman, Jose Vizcaino. Normally plays second base, but today he is playing third base. Actually, normally plays shortstop. He had 81 games at short, 44 at third, and 34 at second. So giving Steve Buechele the day off or the night off. So Jose Vizcaino, switch hitter against Ken Hill. 1-5 is a 5. 1-2 is a 3. Total of 8. And that's going to be a pop up to third. He'll pop it up to his counterpart over there, Mike Lansing, and there's 2 quick outs. So Ken Hill, 2 up and 2 down pretty easily. That'll bring up the venerable Ryan Sandberg, Hall of Famer, stepping to the plate against Ken Hill. 2-1 is a 33. 2-5 is a 5. Total of 38. And a 38 is going to be a ground out pitcher to first. It does talk about an injury, so since I am doing injuries, at least for the one game, that's going to be it for Sandberg. He's going to tweak something as he is pulling away on that ground ball, trying to hustle down the line, but really going back to Ken Hill, there's no sense for him having to do that, but he will have to leave the game. He is injured, so Sandberg will have to be replaced. Nothing doing for the Cubs. They go 3 up and 3 down in the top of the first, but the bigger issue is their injury problem, and so now it looks like what they're going to do is the aforementioned Steve Buechele will be coming on to play third base, and they will move Vizcaino to second. So Vizcaino will switch to second base, and coming in to play third base and hit in the third position is Buechele. So he'll take over and bat third the remainder of the game at third base, and Vizcaino will move to second base. So activity there early on. Cub fans not too happy about that, but when you roll an injury, you roll an injury. And since I used them last week, we might as well keep using them now. Be consistent. All right, so Cubs coming back out. Greg Hibbard will Start things off against Delino DeShields, lefty on lefty matchup. Start off the bottom of the first. 6-6, that's a 7 with an asterisk by it. 6-5 is a 3, total of 10. And that will be a base hit for Delino DeShields. And since there's an asterisk, that means that Delino DeShields has a chance to steal. So we go into our stolen base book. The rules of the stolen base that I like to use anyway. And we're using this grid, counting the pitcher hold and catcher defense. So pitcher hold rating is Greg Hibbert of 5, which is the best you can have. And let's see here, the catcher in this case is Rick Wilkins. We'll check his defense. Rick Wilkins, his defensive rating is also a 5. So we got the best hold rating you can possibly have at a 5 and a 5. So what that means is we got a number here, 5 and a 5, we cross-reference to 56. And what it says here, if die roll is equal to or less than the stolen base defensive rating, the runner holds. If roll is higher, it's a stolen base. Well, if it's a 56 or less, that means he has to hold. Only way he steals is a 57 through 66. So the odds are pretty good that he's going to have to hold. But we'll roll it anyway, because you never know what you're going to get. And we get a 61, so how about that? It is a stolen base. Not only is it a stolen base, but it says here, I'm sorry, 61 only applies if it's a plus. It does not, the throwing error does not show up down here, so I'm going to assume that that's the case, that it does not apply here. So 61 or higher, if it's a plus sign rather than asterisk, has a potential for throwing error, but the asterisk instructions do not have that. So I'm not going to read anything into it. I'm going to play it as it lies, to use a golf term. It's a stolen base with no other activity. So I'll bring up Lou Frazier for Montreal, left fielder. Hibbert trying to pitch around that single and stolen base. We get a 4-1. That's an 11, so that's a possible error. 4-5, which means we're checking the shortstop. That is Ray Sanchez for the Cubs. So we check Ray Sanchez's error rating. He is or not his error rating, but yes, his range rating is a 1. So we know that, but it doesn't really matter because you add it to the 11, you can get a 12, and anything 12 to 16 is a possible error. So then we look at his error check, which is a 41. So we have to roll a 41 or a 42 or higher for it to be an error. Get a 66, it is an error. Unbelievable. So it will be an error, and that will move the runner to third, and safe at first is Lou Frazier. And the Cubs are in early trouble with runners on the corners and nobody out. And that is an error on Ray Sanchez. Normally a pretty good fielder, but E6 in this case. Runners on the corners, nobody out from Marquise Grissom. Cubs are going to play the infield back. They need outs. They want to. They'll trade a double play to get. They'll trade a run to get the double play, I should say. 5-3 is a 5. 5-3 again is a 1. Total of 6. 6 in column 5 is a base on balls. With runner on first only or bases loaded count as 2 balls. Those aren't the case, so you'd have a walk. However, there is a little raised number here under Greg Hibbert's 5-3, and that's a 1-3. That means it's a 3 right here. If the pitcher has a raised number, we're going to roll one die. If the die is higher than that number, scored as a base on balls. If not higher, then it's going to be only a 2-ball count. So his number is a 3, which means, in layman's terms, if we roll a 4, 5, or 6, the walk will stand. If it's a 1, 2, or 3, it drops to a 2-ball count, and Grissom is still at the plate. It's a 4, so it doesn't matter anyway. There's going to be a walk to load the bases. So just things are not going right for the Cubs here in the first inning. They've already had an injury, and now the Expos have the bases loaded with nobody out, thanks to a single, an error, and a walk. And the cleanup man, Moises Alou, is up to the plate. Infield still at the double play depth. They just need outs big time. And another, that's what they did need, is a 6-6. A 6-6 for Alou is an 11. A 6-3 on Hibbert is a 2 for a total of 13. And the 13 says it is long and it is gone. Sayonara pelota. A grand salami for Moises Alou. And just that quickly, the Expos have a 4-0 lead in front of the home folks. And north of the border is happy. 4 runs. And Hibbert may not be long for this ball game. 4-0 Cubs trail it here in the bottom of the first, and there's nobody out still. So here's Greg Colburn as the buzz on the Olympic Stadium is still abounding. Here's Colburn. 5-5 is a 15, 5-5 is a 1, total of 16 in column 5, and that is an infield single. And we're going to the action chart. So action chart for the first time, action chart M is what it says. So we're going to action chart M, and we're talking about possible wild pitches, pickoffs, stuff like that. Add up the red and white, we get a 3, and 3 says pickoff error. Boy, that's just the last thing they need, isn't it? Is a pickoff error. So possible error on pickoff attempt, roll gets pitcher's error rating. If roll is higher, runners advance. All right, so we have the base hit by Colburn, but now Hibbert's going to try to pick him off. It's a 66, so there's not going to be an error. He cannot commit an error. That's one good thing about Hibbert having a 66 is there is no pickoff error after all, because you can't get higher than a 66. So whenever a player has a 66, that means they made 0 errors on the season. So Hibbert catches a slight break that way, but still there's nobody out, and Mike Lansing, the batter. Nightmare inning for the Cubs. 4-5 is a 1. 4-2 is a second baseman who is now Vizcaino. And Vizcaino's rating at second base is a 3. So we add the 3 to the 1, get a 4. And fortunately for the Cubs, that's going to be with the infield halfway. That is a double play. It's going to go 4-6-3 for 2 quick outs. But they're still down 4-0, but at least it looks like it won't get worse. That'll bring up the number 7 hitter, Will Cordero. That's a 5-5. That's a 7 with a C, which means we go to action chart C if he reaches. 7 and a 5-3 is a 1 for a total of 8, which again is another walk, but he's got the raised number, so if we roll again, if it's a 1, 2, or 3, it's a ball 2 count. 4, 5, or 6, the walk stands. It's a 2, so it's only a 2-ball count. Cordero will stand back in the box. Try to go to first. Umpire says, get on back here. So Cordero has another chance. 5-2 is a 27. 5-2 is a 1. Total of 28. And 28 is a fly out to right field, and the inning is finally over. But the Expos, thanks to the grand slam from Moises Alou, lead it 4-0 after 1 complete from Olympic Stadium. Buzzing on a Sunday night with that grand salami. Cubs have their work cut out for them. Leading off will be Mark Grace, cleanup hitter against Ken Hill. And Ken Hill is the happiest guy out there, getting a 4-run lead to work with. Hill to Grace, 1-6, that's a 3. 1-6 is a 4, total of 7. It's a pop up to second base. Easy play by DeShields, 1 down. And that'll bring up left-handed hitting Derek May, left fielder. 2-1 is a 36. 2-4 is a 40. 40 is a ground ball short to first. It says another injury, but I'm going to cap that at just 1 injury per team. I don't want to run out players because of injuries, so I'm going to ignore that one. Don't want to have too many guys get injured in one game, so Montreal can have an injury. The Cubs have already had theirs, so Montreal can have one, but that's going to be it. I'm not going to keep going on. I'm not going to deplete the whole roster here. All right, here's Rick Wilkins, the catcher. 3-5 is a 3. 3-4 is a 2. Total of 5 in column 3. And that is a short fly out to left field, put away out there by Frazier. And the Cubs go quietly again. 1, 2, 3 down in order. And only a previous injury to Sandberg keeps Derek May from falling under the same fate. So we go to the bottom of the second. Hibbert coming back out is going to try to do a little bit better than he did last time. And he's going to be facing the number 8 hitter, Tim Laker. Tim Laker, catcher. 3-6, that's the left-right split. And what do you know what? A lefty is facing a righty, and that's going to be a base hit for Tim Laker. So Laker leads off with a single. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Ken Hill, and this is definitely a bunt situation. I did go ahead and print off, not very well, obviously, but I did print off the PDF of the pitcher hitting cards. So we have Ken Hill's actual pitcher hitting card, not the generic pitcher hitting card number 2 that he would normally be using. And we are going to the bunt chart. And the bunt chart, I believe, is on the back of the trifold. So let me close this in real quick so that I can go to the bunt chart and bring this into play. Ken Hill's bunt rating is only a 1, which is not very good. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The 1 is the best you can have. My bad. I was looking at backwards. He's a very good bunt rating. So the infield is in on the corners. So we're looking at this column right here. A lot of green, which means success. But we'll see what happens. We'll roll the red and white, and the blue will tell us who fields it. Red and white total 11, which is foul 2K. Foul 2K is just what it sounds like. He's fouled off a couple of bunt attempts. He's now at 2 strikes. If batter bunts again, worsen bunt rating by 1. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to the number 2 side because that's what it says on the foul 2K is you worse his bunt rating by 1. So we'll try it again, but we're under the number 2 column now. And that's a 7. 2 column of 7. It does say a good sacrifice. Blue die is a 3, which means it goes to the first baseman. So in that case, the first baseman, Mark Grace, will field it, and we'll just tag Ken Hill coming in himself, and that will be a successful sacrifice. 3 unassisted. Laker will get second base with 1 out, and Delino DeShields steps up. And let me check the focus on this. I've been moving these charts back and forth, so I want to make sure it didn't cause anything to be fuzzy. Make sure we get our focus back. There we go. That's why I don't like moving those charts very much, if I can avoid it. All right, so DeShields now up. He singled, stole second, and scored in the first inning. 3-1 is a 4. 3-2 is a 2. Total of 6 in column 3. That is a short fly to center field, and that will be out number 2. And Laker's not going anywhere now with his slow speed and a short fly, so he will stand pat. And Lou Frazier, the batter, reached on an error and scored his first time up. 5-4 is a 1. 5-5 is a 1. Total of 2, and that is a ground ball to first. Fielded by the first baseman Colburn. He'll step on the bag and take care of it himself to end the inning. I'm sorry, by Grace, not Colburn, my bad. And finally, Greg Hibbert gets out of it without any damage. So after 2 complete, it's still 4-0 favor of the Expos. But the Cubs still have their work cut out for them quite a bit. Ken Hill seems to be in charge. He's retired all 6 he has faced. And Willie Wilson will lead off to start the top of the 3rd, center fielder for the Cubs. 2-1 is a 33. 2-4 is a 4. Total of 37. And that's going to be a ground out pitch to first. Again, it's showing injury. That column 2 is the injury chart when you get these 30s. But again, since I've already had 1 injury, we're not going to keep going with injuries because there'd be 3 Cubs injured right now and wouldn't have anybody to field a team the rest of the way. So we're going to eschew that. We'll do it once, but we're not going to keep doing it. Here's Ray Sanchez. His big error in the first really set the tone for that inning, I think. 4-5 is a 1. 4-5 over here is a shortstop. That is Will Cordero. And Cordero's number defensively is a 4, so that's a total of 5, which means easy ground ball for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down, and that brings up Greg Hibbert. He has his own pitcher hitting card that I cut out, an 0.92 average. 4-1 is a 3. 4-3 is the third baseman Lansing. And when we add the 3 to Lansing's total of 2, it's a total of 5. So it's an easy ground ball out. 5-3. And again, 9 up and 9 down by Ken Hill. Cubs can't get anything going. No traction at all. We go to the bottom of the third, still 4-0. Favor the Expos. Marquise Grissom will lead off for the Expos. He'll be followed by Alou and Colburn against Hibbert. 6-2, and that's the first ballpark check. We're right here in the 6-2 shaded area. The 6-3 for Hibbert says we're at the number 2, so we got to keep an eye. We're going to add 2 to whatever this changes to. So we go to column 6. Marquise Grissom's a righty, so column 6. This bottom row in column 6. Roll 1d6 and see what we get. Get a 1, so that changes it to a 9. It was an 8, it's now a 9. So the 9 plus the 2 is an 11, which is a single, but there's an asterisk beside it. If we roll a 6, this single becomes a home run. Anything 1 through 5, it stays a single. It's a 4, so it stays a single. Base hit for Marquise Grissom. And the hits continue for the Expos. Cub bullpen might need to get into some activity, even though it's early. So now here's Moises Alou. 5-3, and that's a 4. 5-2 is a 1, total of 5. With runner on and first base open, it's a walk, but runner is on, but first base is not open. So instead, it's a ground ball to third. And with the infield halfway, it's out at second on a fielder's choice. So that's going to be a 5-4 fielder's choice. Alou will reach, but now there's one away for Greg Colburn. Colburn, and Jose Bautista is the long relief man. He's the guy that can start and relieve. He started 7 games, relieved 51, so he does have some length. So he would be the guy that would come in if it gets to that. Colburn, 3-2 is a 2. 3-4 is a 3. Total of 5, and that is a short fly to left for out number 2. So maybe Hibbert will settle in and give his team some innings, if nothing else. Here's Lansing. Getting to a double play his last time up. 4-5 is a 1. 4-6 is a second baseman. That is Vizcaíno. And Vizcaíno is a 3. Total of 4, and that's an easy play with the infield back. Just an easy toss to first. And the inning is over. So at least Hibbert has kind of stabilized things, but that 4-run first might be too hard for them to overcome the way Ken Hill's pitching. We shall see. Right now we go to the 4th, and it's top of the order for the Cubs. It'll be Dwight Smith. He flew to right his first chance against Mr. Hill. 4-4, that's a 4. 4-5 is the shortstop, and that's Cordero. His numbers is a 4, so that's a total of 8. And with the infield back, that's just a regular ground ball to short. So Smith grounds to Cordero, 1 away. And that'll bring up Mr. Vizcaíno. Vizcaíno popped to Lansing at third his first chance. 4-1. Boy, a lot of fielding chances. 4-1's a 2. 4-1's a 1. That is the first baseman, Colburn. Doesn't really matter what he is when you add a 1 to it. Nothing's really going to change. But for official purposes, he's a 2. That's a total of 3, and 3 in column 4. With the infield back, a 2 through 11 is a standard ground out. So that's going to be an easy play. Since it's a defensive play, I'm going to say it was a little bit of a tough hop. So just my own little thing. He's going to flip to Ken Hill covering. Call it 3-1. And since it went to his fielding check, I'm going to say it wasn't routine. I'm going to say he had to work for it. So he flips to Ken Hill covering to beat Vizcaíno to the bag. Here's Buechele, his first time up since taking over for the injured Sandberg. 6-5 to 36, and that is a strikeout. If you watched the video I did with the detailed playthrough, I explained that anything with 36 in column 6, it's automatic strikeout. Just like the 2 through 6 in column 1 is an automatic strikeout. So some things in this game, you just see the number, and it's sort of like APA with a 13. You just know it's a strikeout. So Don't even have to look anywhere else. Doesn't matter what the pitcher has. Doesn't matter anything else. It's a strikeout. All right, bottom of the fourth we go. Coming up for the Cubs, it'll be for the Expos rather, is Will Cordero. 4-3 and more ground balls to the fielding chances. 4-3 is a 3. 4-5 is a shortstop, and that's Sanchez. He made one error before, but this is not an error check. This is a ground ball check. He's a 1. We add the 1 to the 3 that's already there for a total of 4, and that's an easy 6-3 ground out. So a lot of ground balls here lately, and that brings up Tim Laker. He singled his first chance. 3-4, and that's a possible rare play as we get to that 57. The 4 here for the pitcher really doesn't matter because it's going to make this 58 through 62. No matter what you add to it, it actually technically becomes a 61. It's still going to your rare play possibility. Whether it's odd or even or not, we'll see. It's odd, so we're going to the rare play chart. Rare play chart with the bases empty. So let's get the bases empty rare play chart out and roll the dice. I'll roll the blue die just in case. There is 1 out, and we get a 7. So 1 out, 7. Rare play, bases empty. 7, 1 out says looping drive to center field. Roll 1 die against the outfielder's defensive rating. Option, subtract 1 from visitor's defensive rating, add 1 to home player's defense. Well, I like that. Give the home team an advantage, so we'll subtract 1 from the defensive rating of the center fielder, Willie Wilson. Let's see here. If die is not higher, outfielder makes a fine running catch to retire the batter. If the die is higher, ball drops in for a hit, and batter gets as many bases as the die roll exceeds the outfielder's rating. Example, a roll of 5 with a 2 rated outfielder means a triple. Okay, so there you go. So the defensive rating of Willie Wilson, he's the man in question. His defensive rating is a 3, but that's going to be lowered by 1 because of I'm using an optional rule about home field advantage. So I'm going to say he's not familiar with Olympic Stadium's surroundings and the dome and everything else. So that's going to drop him down to a 2. So we're going to roll 1 die. If it's higher than 2, then it's going to be a base hit. And if it's higher by more than 1, like roll a 4, it'll be a double. 5, it'll be a triple. 3 is a single. 1 to 2, he makes the catch. That's 2, so Willie Wilson's still able to make that catch. So he came through and made the catch to end the inning. I'm sorry, not to end the inning, second out. My bad. Got ahead of myself there. But nice, fine running catch there by Willie Wilson. And that'll send up the pitcher, Ken Hill. He was up to bunt last time. He gets to swing away this time. Does Mr. Hill. Four two more fielding plays. 4-2 is a 6. 4-5 is the shortstop, and that is Sanchez, and he's a 1, so it's a total of 7, and that's just an easy ground out to end the inning. So a lot of ground outs in this game, a lot of fielding checks early on. And if I was playing full board injury, I'd have 3 injuries right now, but had to put the kibosh on that or I'd be out of players. At least the Cubs would. All right, we go to the 5th. Still 4-0. Those 4 runs in the first have held up. And Mark Grace, the batter. In fact, there's not been a whole lot of offense since then. Mark Grace will step up. He popped to second his first chance. 5-6 is a 3. 5-4 is a 4. It's a total of 7 in column 5. And 7 in column 5 is going to be a walk. So a leadoff walk to Mark Grace. And that's the first Cub base runner of the game. A leadoff walk to start the 5th. Brings up Derek May. Grounded to short his first chance. 3-2, and that is an 11. And 3-6 is a 3. Total of 14 in column 3. 14 in column 3 is a line out to third. And that's 1 away. No provision there showing about doubling off a runner, so runner just stays put, but it's 1 away for Rick Wilkins. Flew to left his first chance. 5-1 is a 3. 5-6 is a 5. Total of 8. And 8 says with bases full, count as 2 balls, but bases are not full. So it'll be yet another walk. So back to 2 walks in the inning, providing Cub base runners off of Ken Hill. And that brings up Willie Wilson. He made that nice running catch last inning. Trying to do something with his bat as well. Get the Cubs back in the game. 2-4 is a 1. That's not going to do it. 2-4 is a 1. 2-3 is a 4. Total of 5. And anything 6 or less in columns 1 or 2 is a strikeout. So second out of the inning, and the runners cannot advance. And that brings up Ray Sanchez. Sanchez is your batter. Grounded to short his first time up. 4-6 is a 19. 4-2 is a second baseman. That is DeShields. He is a 2. That's a total of 21 with the infield back. Infield back, a total of 21, is a single off the fielder's glove, but we do go to the first base umpire. First base umpire is in play, and that states on the first base umpire, I'll show that real quick. First base umpire is right here. We get a 21, a 1, or a 6, it's an out. 2 through 5, he beats it out and is safe for the first hit of the game for the Cubs. So Hill needs a 1 or 6 for an out. Anything else, Sanchez will be safe. And he's safe, so there goes the no-hitter. Bases are now loaded with 2 outs for the pitcher, Hibbard, but Hibbard's being called back. They got to have offense, so they are going to the bullpen, are the Cubs. We will go to the bullpen and the bench for the pinch hitter as well. So we're not sure who's going to be coming in from the bullpen yet. It depends on what the Cubs do as offensively. If they don't score or get the game close, it could, affect who's going to be brought in. So right now, Cubs are looking for a pinch hitter on their bench. The only lefty they have is Doug Jennings. He's a 250 hitter, so you know what? That's who they're going to go with. They're going to go with Doug Jennings, a 250 hitter. So, and also playing the percentages. If you roll that 3-6, you get the lefty-righty split break. So it's chance there as well. So bases loaded, 2 outs. The no-hitter has been broken up. Ken Hill now to the pinch hitter, Doug Jennings. 5-3 is a 6. 5-4 is a 4. Total of 10. And that's a walk. That will force in a run. So a bases loaded walk to the pinch hitter Jennings. That is the 4th walk of the inning for... the 3rd walk of the inning for Hill. It's walk 3 and given up a single. And he has lost the shutout. It is now 4-1. And the Cubs have a chance with a base hit here to get right back in this ball game. As Ken Hill has seemed to have lost the strike zone all of a sudden. 2-3 is a 3. 2-3 is a 4. Total of 7. And that's going to be a pop out to second to end the inning. But the Cubs do get on the board. A lot of walks to do it, but they'll take it. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 4-1. And we will need a new pitcher for Chicago, as they did pinch hit for Hibbert. So let's see who the Cubs might want to bring in. Coming up for the Expos is the top of the order, lefty, switch, and a righty. So probably doesn't matter there, but I'm thinking they're going to probably go with a right-hander here. But you know what? They may go to the lefty because they got more lefties in the bullpen than anything else. So let's see what they want to do. Actually, no. We're in the 5th, and the pitcher spot doesn't come up for a while, so they're going to go with Jose Bautista. He's the long guy of the bullpen. Decent pitcher. 10-3 with 2 saves and a 2.82 ERA. 51 games relieved, 7 started, 112 innings pitched, so he's got a 4 relief rating. So that's pretty good. So he's going to be facing DeShields. So let's get Bautista scratched off. And DeShields will be the first to face him. Hibbert went 4 innings, gave up the 4 runs, 3 were earned. The big blow was the grand slam by Moises Alou. See how many hits he gave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hits. Let's see, he walked 1 and did not strike out anybody. Interesting. All right, so DeShields now will face the new pitcher, Bautista, to start the 5th. 2-3 is a 2, 2-3 is a 3, total of 5, and that is a strikeout in column 2 rather. So DeShields out on strikes. We'll send up Lou Frazier, switch hitting left fielder. 5-3 is a 5, 5-1 is a 1, total of 6. And that's a base on balls with runner on first only, or bases full, count as 2 balls. But it's also a raised number for Bautista, which is a 2. So we're going to re-roll. If we roll a 1 or a 2, it drops to a 2-ball count. 3 or higher, the walk stands. And the walk does stand. So Lou Frazier will reach on the base on balls, issued by Bautista. And that'll bring up Marquise Grissom. Sloppy game, had an error, lots of walks, and an injury. And we're only about halfway through. 5-6 is a 1, 5-3 is a 1, total of 2. Is a ground ball to first with the infield halfway. It's the fielder's choice. They throw to first to get the out. It's going to go 3-6. Grace to Sanchez for the force, and Grissom will reach. But now there are 2 down. For Moises Alou, his grand slam accounted for the only runs of the game for the Expos. 2-6, and then we're back to the ballpark card. And we're looking at the raised number, which is a 3. The key number here is the number on the blue die, because that tells you who's going to field it. With a 3, that means we're going to the center fielder, Willie Wilson. We've already seen Willie Wilson has a range of 3. He has a range of 3. So we're going to re-roll on this ballpark card, column number 2, right here, looping line drive. If the red die changes this, if it's a 1 or 2, then that raised number will change to a 2, and then that will mean that Wilson will make the catch. If we roll a 3 through 6, it will either stay a 3 or go higher, and that means that he can't make the catch. So Cubs need a 1 or a 2, or else Lou will get a base hit. It's a 1, so how about that? Nice running grab by Willie Wilson. Second time he's done that, and it retires the side. So nothing doing there for the Expos on the fine play by Willie Wilson. Just talked about all the errors in a sloppy game, and Willie Wilson's made 2 nice plays. Keep his team in the game. So we go to the 6th, 4-1. Favor of the Expos. Ken Hill coming back out. He's got a fatigue of 7 innings, so he's all right, or 27 batters. He's only faced right now 19, so he's definitely in good shape as far as that goes. Here is Jose Vizcaino. He is 0 for 2. 4-5, and again, we're back in the fielding chart. 4-5 is a 3. 4-1 is the first baseman, and that is Colburn. And he's a 2, so it's a total of 5, which is an easy ground out. But again, since it's to the fielding check, we're going to say he flips to Ken Hill covering. Second time Vizcaino is grounded out, 3-1. So 1 away for Buechele. Struck out in his only chance up after taking over for the injured Sandberg. 2-2, and that's that dreaded 2-2, which turns into an 11, which is an automatic base hit. You can't stop it. You can only hope to contain it. So 11's a base hit no matter what you add to it. In this case, Ken Hill will add 2-3 is a 4. It's a total of 15. 15 says a single to right field. So can't stop that hit. So it's a base hit. Second hit of the game for the Cubbies, and that'll bring up Mark Grace. 5-6 is a 3. 5-1 is a 2. Total of 5. With runners on and first base open, it's a walk, but first base is not open. So it's a ground ball to third. Again, that since they're halfway, it's a fielder's choice. 5-4. Grace will reach, and Buechele is out at second base. So 2 down for Derek May. May is 0 for 2. 3-3 is a 32. 3-5 is a 3. Total of 35 in column 3. 35 in column 3 is a double to center field. Let's see if that's enough to bring the run home. It says a double to center field. Runner advances 2 bases, but check with third base coach for any extra advances. So we bring out the third base coach in this case. And let's see, the runner on first is Mark Grace. Check his run rating. Grace runs at a 3. The double, find out where that went. The double went to center field. Center fielder arm, Marquise Grissom, his arm rating is a 4. So 4 over the 3 puts him in the -1 category. But if it's a center field throwing home, you bring it right back 1 to your right, so we're in the 0 column. Instead of the -1, we go to 1 to the right because the throw from home to a center fielder, you move it over to the 0 column. So pretty much the only way he's out is to roll a 9. Anything else, he's going to either score or hold up. So they will go ahead and send him. As long as you don't roll a 9, he's all right. Roll a 4, which is fine. That is just says XB, which means lead runners save easily, other runners hold. So there you go. So the double will score the run. It's an RBI double from Derek May, and the Cubs have cut the lead in half now to 4-2 as they come battling back. And now the Expo bullpen might start to loosen. Rick Wilkins is out. May at second base with 2 down, and here's Wilkins. 5-6 is a 2, 5-1 is a 2, total of 4, and that's a ground out to short. Cordero will throw to first to end the inning, but the Cubbies do pick up an additional run, cut the lead to 4-2. And you wonder how long they're going to go with Ken Hill now, because he's starting maybe to get knocked around a bit. Jose Bautista will be back out for the Cubs for sure. It'll be Colburn, Lansing, and Cordero due up. Ken Hill will bat 5th this inning, so they could pinch hit for him if it gets that far. Right now it is Colburn, who is 1 for 2, a single and a fly to left. 1-3 is a 2, 1-4 is a 3, total of 5, and 6 or less under column 1 is a strikeout. 1 away. Colburn is retired. Brings up Mike Lansing. So really, since the first inning, the Expos haven't done much, but they haven't needed to. They still hold a 4-2 lead. 6-4, and that's a 57 with an asterisk by it. 57 with an asterisk by it. 6-4 is a 3, total of 60 in column 6. And that says it's an infield single, or not infield single, single to left field. Runners advance 1 base. Doesn't say anything about the batter. It just says the runner advancing 1 base. But there's an asterisk for Lansing, which means he gets a chance to steal. Now before, the hold rating, well, Bautista has the same hold rating of 5. So we're under the same number we were on before on the grid, where it was a 5 and a 5. I'll show that again. 5 and a 5, which means the 56. So we have to roll a 57 or higher to be a stolen base. We did last time with a 61. But it needs a 57 or higher, or else he has to hold. 42, he's got to hold. So no stolen base. Lansing will hold up. And here is Cordero. Shortstop. 3-4. That's a possible rare play. Again, you get that 57. It's a possible rare play. It really doesn't matter what the blue die is, because you're still going to fall within that 58 to 62 range. Technically 61, technically it's a 59. So we're looking for even or odd. Whoops, that didn't even go through, did it? Now it is even, so it's a comebacker to the mound, which means we're rolling against the run rating of the batter. It says roll 1 die against the runner's speed. If the die is higher, he's out. His speed's a 4, so we need a 5 or a 6, or else this is going to be an infield hit. However, with runner on, he can throw for the runner, not necessarily the batter. Depends on who might be slower. So let's check the runner on first base is Lansing. His run rating is also a 4, so it really makes no difference. Actually, he's going to throw for second, because you might as well try for the lead dog. The same odds both ways. He needs a 5 or a 6 to make a play. Otherwise, it's an infield hit. That's 2, so he beat it out. Infield hit. I guess technically it's a fielder's choice because he was trying for the lead guy. So I guess if you want to be real technical, it's technically a fielder's choice, not an infield hit, because he was trying for the lead guy. So got to bring up Laker with first and second, and one out. Ken Hill is on deck, so they may have a pinch hitter waiting for the Expos. It looks like John Vanderwall has picked up a bat and would hit in his stead. So we'll see. Laker 6'5" is a 16. 6'4" is a 3. Total of 19. That's a deep fly out to right field. Any run on second tags and moves to third. So since it's a deep right, the runner on second moves and goes to third for the second out. But Lansing does take third since it went to right field. Now, what do you do with Ken Hill? Do you let him swing away? He can face 27 batters. He's faced 24. But if you get another base hit, you could almost blow this game open. So they're going to the bench. That's going to be it for Ken Hill. And the Expos will call upon pinch hitting specialist John Vanderwall. He will come on to face Bautista and try to add to this lead of the Expos if possible. And in the bullpen for the Expos, we got to look and see who they might be bringing in. Looks like potentially Mike Gardner, and we saw him with the Tigers. No, I'm sorry, that's somebody else. It's a different guy I'm thinking of. My bad. Let's see. We saw him when I did the Expos Reds game. Could be using him. Could be using somebody else. Might go to Kent Botten. I'm sorry. Might go to. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Right now, we need to concentrate on the batter. Vanderwall 3-1 is a 13. 3-1 is a 2. 3-1 is a 1. Total of 14 in column 3. It's a line out to third, and that's going to end the inning. So inning is over. Nothing doing for the Expos in the 6th, despite having runners on the corners. And Jose Bautista definitely did his job. He will be coming out because he's going to be pinch hit for this inning. So we go to the 7th with the score still 4-2 Montreal. And we need a new pitcher, so let's do some totals here on Bautista. He went 2 innings, and he gave up 1 hit, walked a batter, struck out 2, gave up no runs, obviously. And we'll do the numbers on Ken Hill. He goes 6 innings. He's going to give up, let's see, how many hits? 1, 2, 3 hits. He walked several, though. 3 of them in the 5th. I think those were his only walks, though. So he walked 3. Didn't strike out very many. He struck out Bouchel and Wilson. That was it. 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. The 2 runs, both were earned. And now we need to figure out who's going to come in for the Expos to pitch. And in the top of the 7th, the Cubs actually have Wilson, a switch hitter, Sanchez, a righty, and then they've already used Jennings, so the only batters on the bench are right-handed. So looking at Sammy Sosa to pinch hit. So we're going to go to, they're going to Mike Gardner. He will later go to Detroit, but right now he is with the Expos. So Gardner is on, a right-hander. And he'll be facing Wilson, Sanchez, and Sammy Sosa. Baseball has been very good to him. So Willie Wilson, the switch hitter, will step to the plate against Mr. Gardner. 4-2, another fielding check. 4-2 is a 4. 4-4 is a shortstop. Now, had we gotten a 4-2 in the blue, if the blue die had been a 2 or a 5, you see these C6s here, that would move over to column 6, and we take the 4-2 result from here and move that over to column 6, and that'd be a 51. So, fly ball pitcher would move some of that over there, but since we got a 4, it's just going to stay with ground ball with the shortstop, and that is Cordero. So Cordero at shortstop is a 4. And the 4-2 is also a 4. Total of 8, but 2 through 11 is an easy ground out. So easy play by the shortstop Cordero. One down, and speaking of shortstops, here comes Ray Sanchez. 3-6, that's a left-right split, and it's going to be a righty-on-righty matchup, so it's a liner to short. Liner to short is going to take place there and cancel that out. So 2 down, and now they may call Sammy Sosa back because with the bases empty, you don't want to waste Sosa on a bases empty result with 2 outs. You want him on there with people on base. So instead, they will turn to Candy Maldonado to pinch hit, not Sammy Sosa. It'll be Maldonado instead. They'll probably save Sosa for the 9th, most likely, where the Cubs hope they have people on base. So Maldonado will go to Cleveland on a trade eventually, but right now he's with the Cubbies facing Gardner. 2-4 is a 55 with a 1. So pretty much that means this is going to be an out because that 1 does not change like it does down here. It stays static. So as long as the outfielder in question has a range higher than 1, he'll make the catch. Blue die is a 1, and on a 55, a blue die of 1 is the left fielder. So we're checking the left fielder, Lou Frazier. As long as his range is a 2 or better, he will make the catch. Lou Frazier's left field range is actually a 4, so he will easily make that catch, and the inning is over. So nothing doing for the Cubbies. Come away empty-handed, and Gardner does his job. So the Cubs now will have to figure out who they want to bring in as a new pitcher. It'll be DeShields, Frazier, and Grissom due up for the Expos. You got left, switch right. So it looks like the Cubbies are going to go to a lefty out of the bullpen. And that's going to be Chuck McElroy. So Chuck McElroy will come on for the Expos. I'm sorry, for the Cubs, rather. McElroy. Lefty on lefty matchup against DeShields. That is a 6-4. That's a 21 on DeShields. 6-3 is a 1, total of 22. And that's going to be a long single. Runner advances. Let's see. Batter may try for a double. Roll red and white die for umpire's call. All right, the blue die is a 3, which means we're looking at the center fielder. Center fielder is Willie Wilson. We may need his arm. We may not. We're going to roll the red and white die. So if the red die is a 1 through 4, he's safe with a double. If it's a 5 or 6, he still might be safe. We got to check other things. It's a 6, so that means if it's a 6, then we go to the bottom. It says safe if white die is higher than outfielder's arm. If not, he's out. Well, the white die is a 3. The outfielder arm in this case is the center fielder, Willie Wilson. His arm is a 2. So 3 is higher than the 2, so he's going to be safe with a double. So because Willie Wilson had a below average arm, he was able to beat that out for a double. And Delino DeShields is on with that leadoff double to start the 7th. That'll bring up Lou Frazier. 5-1 is a 3 with an asterisk. 5-2 is a 4, total of 7. 7 is a walk. And there's an asterisk there, but the runner's already on second, so he can't steal. So that eliminates the stolen base possibility. That'll bring up Marquise Grissom. We got all these righties coming up, so the Cubs may go to the right-hander out of the pen because it looks like Mr. McElroy is not effective. So McElroy will leave, and they'll go to Bob Scanlon, a right-hander out of the pen, to try to keep this thing close. So McElroy had a night he'd like to forget. Doesn't get anybody out. He gives up a hit and a walk, and he's responsible for 2 runners on base. And now Bob Scanlon will be coming on. So Scanlon is your pitcher. And he'll be facing Marquise Grissom with 2 on and nobody out. 2-6, and that's in the shaded area once again, which is the 2. The blue die is a 3, which means we are checking the center fielder again, Willie Wilson. Not checking his arm, we're checking his range this time. and that's where he excels a little bit better. Not too much better, but a little bit better. He's a 3. So right now he'd make the catch because that's a 2, but Olympic Stadium can change that. Anything 3 through 6 and that number changes to a 3 or better and it drops for a base hit. If it's a 1 or a 2, then that means Willie Wilson will make another running catch. And he does not. It changes to a 5, so that's going to definitely be in there for a hit. Let's check base running ratings. If outfielder's defense rating is not higher than the rated number, the ball falls for a single. Runners advance 1 base, 2 bases if their speed is higher than their outfielder's arm. All right. We already know his arm is a 2, so the lead runner is the Shields. His speed is definitely higher than 2. He's a speed of 5, so he will get the 2 bases and score. Runner on first, Lou Frazier will get the extra base because he's a 4 speed as opposed to the 2 arm. So let's see, and I don't see anything about. Doesn't say anything about the batter. The batter stays put with 1 base, but it's going to be an RBI single for Grissom. That run is charged to McElroy, and Frazier will move to third. It is now 5-2 Montreal as they threaten to blow this game open. Still nobody out, and here comes Moises Alou. Infield for the Cubs has to come in. They just cannot afford to give up any more runs. Scanlon needs a strikeout in the worst way. 4-4, that's not good. That's an 11 with an asterisk, which means we're going to an error check. The blue die is a 5, which means we're checking the shortstop. That's Ray Sanchez. He's already made 1 error in the game. Sanchez's error rating is a 41. So if we roll higher than a 41, it's going to be an error. It's 12, so there's no error. He will make the play, but let's see with the infield in. Let's see what happens on that. Let's see. Roll. If no, it's not play. Same as 7 above. All right. So slow grounder. The defense has 2 options: take the shore out at first as runner advance, or try for lead runner. Roll 1 die against the speed of the lead runner. If higher, he is out. All right. Lead runner is Frazier. His speed is a 4. So the only way to get him out is to roll a 5 or a 6. Or you can take the shore out at first. Boy, that's tough. You're looking at a real big inning if you don't get him out there. So he's going to score, and they're going to get the runner at first base. So we'll call it 6-3. Run will score, and Grissom will go to second base. I mean, the infield was in, but it was hit such a way that he really didn't have a clean shot at the plate, and rather than have him still be safe and run score, the odds just weren't in their favor. So he took the shore out to make sure he got it out. Here's Colburn. 4-5, that's a 16. 4-2 is a second baseman, and that is Vizcaino. Vizcaino is a 3. So 3 plus 16 is a 19 with the infield back. And that's just going to be a grounder out at first. The runner's advance. So it's a ground ball second to first. The runner, Grissom, will take third now with 2 outs. And it brings up Mike Lansing. So if they can get out of this with just the 2 runs allowed, it would make it 6-2, but they'd still technically be in the ball game. 1-6 is a 45, and with the infield back, that's a strikeout to end the inning. So both runs are charged to Chuck McElroy, and he certainly had a rough outing of it. 7 innings in the books. It's 6-2 Montreal. And let's see what's going to happen as far as the Expos. Gardner faced 3 batters. Got them all out, so no reason not to continue with him. Dwight Smith is your batter to lead things off. He's 0 for 3 in this game. 3-3 is a 14. 3-3 is a 1. A total of 15 in column 3. And that is a line out to second base, 1 away. And that's one there. If he'd had a 2 in that spot instead of a 1, it would have changed the 14 to a 15. And that would have been a triple. So just that close to get an extra base hit for Dwight Smith. But instead, it's just a line out. One down for Vizcaino. He's 0 for 3. 5-1's a 5. 5-6 is a 5. Total of 10. That will be a walk. So Vizcaino draws a 1-out walk. And it brings up Buechele. Three is a 29. 3-1 is a 1. Total of 30. That's a line out to left field for out number 2. So 2 down for Mark Grace. 4-5 is a 1. 4-6 is a second baseman. And that's the Shields. And we add the 1 to the Shields' total of 2 for a total of 3. And it's an easy ground out to end the inning. So nothing doing there for the Cubbies. We go to the bottom of the 8th at 6-2. That'll be all for Gardner. He went 2 innings and did his job for sure. Now the Cubs stick with Scanlon or do they go to somebody else? We'll see. Scanlon only faced 4 batters, so he technically could keep going. But in a 6-2 game, what do you do? 6-2 game, I guess they'll stick with him. Guess they'll stick with Scanlon. Cordero is your batter, followed by Laker and a pinch hitter for the pitcher. 6-6 is a 9. 6-1 is a 1. Total of 10. And that's a leadoff single for Cordero. But you're lucky. The Cubs are lucky. A 6-6 many times is a home run. But the fact that we rolled a 1 here and didn't get down to this 4 kept that from being a home run. Here's Laker against Scanlon. 6-5, that's a 16. 6-6 is a 4. Total of 20. It's a deep fly to right, but that's 1 away. So 1 down, and now we'll get a pinch hitter for Gardner. And coming up to pinch hit for the Expos will be, or who do they want to use here? They'll use Sean Berry. Why not? Sean Berry will pinch hit. When it's 6-2, it almost doesn't matter. Could have went to a lefty, but they'll go ahead and go with Berry. (4-2) is a 16. 4-2 again, second baseman, and that is Vizcaino. Vizcaino is a 3. That's a total of 19. So when they're halfway in a total of 19, it's a single knocked down by the fielder. Runners advance, 1 extra base. So had the infield been back, it would have been an out. But since they were halfway for a double play, it's going to go as an infield single. And that'll bring up the Shields. And with that, the Cubs will make a move to the bullpen. So Scanlon will exit, and Paul Assenmacher will be coming on. Actually, no, he won't. I take it back. It will not be Assenmacher. It will be Dan Plesac. He's got that blue there. It tells you he's more effective against the lefties. So since he's facing a lefty, they will go with Plesac. He's not the closer Randy Myers is, so they're not using their closer in a non-save situation. They're using Mr. Plesac to try to keep her from getting embarrassing. Facing the Shields. 2-1 is a 34. 2-6 is still going to be a 1. It would have been a 4 against the righty, but it's a 1 here. So the 34 becomes a 35. 35 is a ground out pitcher to first, and that's going to be an injury on to Shields. Let's see here with the infield. See here. Runners advance 1 base, so both runners advance. It's going to be an out. Play is made by Plesac, but the Shields tweak something going down to first base, so he's going to have to leave the game. That's the 1 injury for the Expos. Each team allowed 1 injury, and that's going to be it. So the Expos will need a new second baseman, and we'll have to figure out who that's going to be. They may have to do some maneuvering. Lou Frazier can come in from the outfield and play second base. Not very well, but he can do it. And that may be where they need to go. Actually, they're going to move Lansing to second and keep Sean Berry in the game to play third. That's what they're going to do. All right, so with 2 outs now, brings up Lou Frazier. "3-2" is a 2. 3-3 against a switch hitter batting right. 3-3 is a 4. That's a total of 6 in column 3, and it's still going to be a short fly to center to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Expos as Plesac gets them out of the jam. And we go to the 9th, but we'll need a new set of infielders for the Expos. DeShields is injured, so coming in and staying in the game to play second base is Barry, who pinched. I'm sorry, he's going to come and play third base. He pinch hit for the pitcher and is going to stay in the game to play third base, which means he would bat in the number 9 position. So the pitcher is actually going to bat in the number 1 position. And Lansing is going to move to second base. So that's how they're going to handle the injury. Gardner went 2 innings of relief. He walked 1, and no hits, no runs, no nothing else. So nothing doing there. So coming in for the Expos to pitch the top of the 9th. Obviously a non-save situation, so you're not going to bring in John Wetland in this case. So let's see who's coming up for the Cubbies. It's May, Wilkins, and Wilson. Some lefties are coming up, so they're going to bring in lefty of their own. And that's going to be the only lefty they have, Jeff Facero. So Jeff Facero, and he is a ground ball pitcher. As you can see here is the blue shaded area here in column 6, which are normally flyouts. We'll change this over to column 4 and make it a ground out. So Facero is your pitcher, and he's going to actually bat in the number 1 position after all this maneuvering. So Facero is on. He'll be facing May, Wilkins, and Wilson. May, Wilkins, and Wilson. They do have Sammy Sosa close by if they need him, but right now they're going to stick with Derek May. 2-6, and we're going to the ballpark card again, which is this section right here. The blue 2 means we're looking at the left fielder, and that's Lou Frazier. And Frazier, his range in left field is a 4. So right now he made the catch because that's a 3, but the number is going to change. So if we roll a 5 or a 6, this will change this to a 4 or a 5 and make it a hit. If it's a 1 through 4, it stays a 3 or less, and the catch is made. It's a 4, so it's going to stay a number 3, which means Lou Frazier runs it down for the out, 1 away. And that's going to bring up the catcher, Rick Wilkins. One, 2 is a 1. 1, 6 is a 1. Total of 2, and that's a strikeout in column 1 for out number 2. Down to the final chance, and it's switch hitting Willie Wilson will get the call. 1, 5 is a 5. 1, 2 is a 1. That's going to be a strikeout again on the 6, and there's your ball game. Jeff Facero shuts down the Cubbies with no issues. Sammy Sosa was on deck to hit for Sanchez, but never got the chance. And with the score being 6-2, it really doesn't matter, does it? So there's your ball game. The Expos send the fans home happy on a Sunday night with a 6-2 victory over the Cubbies. And we'll do the totals and come back and get set up for next Sunday night's game right after I pause the video. All right, back at Olympic Stadium, final score. Expos defeat the Cubs here on Sunday night by the score of 6-2. Big blow in the game was the grand slam home run in the first inning by Moises Alou. He is the player of the game. Moises Alou, player of the game, with his grand slam home run in the first inning. And Ken Hill pitched pretty well as well. 6 innings pitched, only allowed 2 runs. He gets the win. Taking the loss is Greg Hibbard. And with a 4-run deficit, there was no save. So that's going to do it here from Montreal. Next Sunday night, we go deep into the heart of Texas, Arlington Stadium. It'll be the Cleveland Indians against the Texas Rangers. That's next Sunday on Replay Baseball. Next video will be probably either tomorrow or Tuesday, and that will be the next game in the New York Yankees payoff pitch replay against the Kansas City Royals. And then, of course, next Saturday, we go back to inside pitch. And inside pitch next Saturday will be the Orioles and the Royals from Memorial Stadium. But that's going to do it from here. Hope you had a good Sunday night. Appreciate, or whenever you're watching this. And appreciate you tuning in and spending part of your evening with me, or your day whenever you happen to watch this. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. I would choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.